So yeah, so why don't we go ahead and talk about the Volpini, since it's at the top of the list, one of 3 cars, and tell us a little bit about that one real quick.
It's a 1960 Volpini. Technically, it's like a 1956 Volpini.
Do we have battery issues or something? Y'all keep looking at this camera. Right?
Can you check and make sure JD's battery in his heart is still working?
Oh, my battery in my heart is just pumping away. I'm so excited about this. So, all right, so we've talked about, I mean, your stable is endless.
Let me tell you about the Volpini.
Yeah, your stable is endless with these F1 cars, and every time I think we're done talking about F1, another one comes up, and this one is an actual one of 3 car, your Volpini, your 58 Volpini, Formula 1 of 3. Tell us more about that.
So again, I was in Formula Juniors. I was finding they were so exciting, and you know, I know it sounds repetitive, but it was that same sort of thing. Okay, I had my my Lotuses, and I'm racing in the 61 class, but there's a class before that, the front engines, like we talked about with where the Scarab would be, and they also had Formula Juniors for those. And the most beautiful cars out there that everybody says in the front engine Formula cars of that period was the Maserati 250S. The Maserati long nose Formula car was so beautiful. Well, there was a lot of Italian builders, and this one really successful race driver, he built this car company, Volpini. They built 3 Formula Junior front engine cars to compete. They were very successful in competing with these cars. And I'll never forget the day I walked into a garage at a track, and I saw this car, not this one, but one of the other 3 was this Volpini. And it was fast. And I watched the guy win, and I said, I got to have one of those. And I just, and it was one of those things like, when you buy a new car and you've wanted it for a while, and you put it in your garage, you wake up in the middle of the night, you come out, you look at it, you go back to sleep, you come back and you look at it again, you go, that's mine. That's my car.
Yes. Well, I think we all have that sickness.
Oh yeah. And all weekend long, all my fantastic race cars. And I just kept going over there, like rubbing this car, like going, this is the most beautiful little race car I have ever seen. And so the guy told me, he said, look, mine's not for sale. The other one's not for sale, but there is one. The guy's going to be at the next race. He's bringing the car. He wasn't planning on selling it, but if you go talk to him, you might be able to talk him out of it, because I think he's getting past that point of racing. And so sure enough, I signed up for the next race, came in, the guy had the car, and I'm like Googling over it. Worst thing you can do when you want to buy a car, like, right. Yeah, this car's not my favorite color. It's not, no. I'm like going, oh my God, can I buy your car? Can I buy your car? So needless to say, I had to buy it. Anyway, it was so lovely. The guy gave me the history of, hey, I won this race. He told me the background of Volpini, the cars, where they were made. It shows you on inside in there, the stickers and all the other stuff, all the events that it had been at. And it had been owned by a guy who was, what was he? He had a title. He was like, I'd have to look it up. He was not a duke. He was something. Yeah, he had some kind of official title. Anyway, he was the one who raced the car in period. Anyway, I bought the car, drove it twice, sent it to, it was a Pierce Racing in the UK. The guy who does all the E-types, D-types, C-types, gave him the car and said, I want to race in Silverstone. I want the gearbox, I want the engine, I want the chassis, I want everything to be made brand new so I can drive the car in Silverstone, which is the most classic and important Formula. Yeah. And so he prepped the car, got it ready, he ran the car for me. Actually, let one of my other friends use my Lotuses that weekend and say, you race the Lotuses, I'm taking this Volpini out. I raced that thing around the track with a smile so big on my face, I think I swallowed bugs through my helmet. It was a ton of fun. Raced it several times. It's in excellent condition. If you look at a car that fits into that race class, this is the car you want to drive. It's easy to control, yet it's fast. But what you really get out of this car is you're almost probably never going to see another one. And everybody who looks at it will ask you that same question. That's so rare. Is that either if they're in Europe, they'll ask you if it's a Volpini. If they're in the US, they'll say, is that the Maserati? And I'll go, no, that's the Volpini. So it's just an uber valuably rare car that you wouldn't be able to buy, probably would never have a chance to buy one other than here, because I don't think the other two, I don't think they'll be for sale for any period of time I know of.
And this is also in Germany, and it's going to be sold in Germany and can be picked up at your home there in Germany.
Yes, it's in my museum in Germany, and it's yeah, it's there with the other two Lotuses.